Hey, happy day 8. We're gonna do a little mellow hip work today, hip flow. So maybe a small block nearby, or a regular block is a good size, a pillow for your head. I'm laying so that my feet can be on the wall, and my knees are bent out in front of me, roughly 90 degrees here. And then we'll just do our hip glides. So from here, you take your right hip, your top hip towards the wall, and create some length and strength through the underside of your torso, the left waist. And then from here, we're just gonna pull the right knee back in space as far as you can. So this is from the pelvis rotating, and we're pulling the right femur deep into the hip joint. And just seeing how far back you can get it, but then also on your exhale, squeezing the right knee down against the inner left thigh. And just holding this position for a couple rounds of breath. Inhale to keep thinking about pulling your right knee back any further along your inner left thigh, and then exhale, pushing it down against the bottom leg. Feet are heavy at the wall, breathing is smooth. Top hip is reaching towards the wall, you're pulling back, and exhale, pushing the knee down. These are hip glides. It's a good daily movement for just keeping the hips moving and the femurs back into the joint socket. One more breath here. Good. And then we'll melt and release that, 2 knees stacked, and you just see how far can you push your knee forward now, and then how far can you pull it back. So we're just gliding in and out of this pulled back position, and really resist any tendency to rib flare and back bend here, and just going forward and back a few times to kind of groove that movement pattern in your body. That's walking. Okay, let's flip and do the other side. So now you're taking your feet to the wall. I have my left hip on top now, blanket or pillow there, feet pushing into the wall, left hip reaching towards the wall, and then pull your left knee back in space and resist your left knee down against the inner right thigh on the exhale. And resisting any back bend, broaden to the back rib cage. Keep going with your breathing. So stay in the shape. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, squeeze down against the bottom leg. Feet heavy at the wall. Keep going. And yeah, I wanted to mention, sometimes this causes cramping. Stop before cramping. Work at that level, and you will see improvements over time. So we'll go a couple more rounds of breath, pulling back and resisting the knee down against the inner right thigh. Keeping your left hip reaching towards the wall, right waist is engaged, pulling back, reaching down. Good. Okay, one more breath. And then we'll come back to neutral, and then we'll do some gliding, pushing the left knee as far forward as you can, and then pulling it back. Resisting the back bend, keeping the back ribs wide, feeling the rotation at the pelvis. This reestablishes good rotation at the pelvis. We want pelvis and rib cage to rotate well so that we don't ask the lumbar spine. The lumbar is not so great at rotating, really good at coming forward and bending back. That's its job. So getting the hips to do their job here. Okay, one more time, grooving this pattern in your body. You'll be ready for your walk later. And then we'll release that and come onto your back. And from here, we'll take our feet to the wall, and you can be closer or further as you need, and we'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And again, make adjustments as you need. You can keep this pillow if it feels good. Lengthen your right waist towards the wall, and then just relax here, taking a couple deep breaths to feel your passive range of motion at your left hip. This is one of my favorites. I'm really enjoying lately coming into a sense of strength. I have a significant imbalance between the two hips. So I'm just trying to do this a little longer when I come on the right side. You'll find that you'll have imbalances quite likely as well. And that's just life. And then we work towards coming back into balance, right? The body will never be perfectly balanced because that's how we are made. That's how we have evolved, right? The heart's a little off center, different amount of lobes in the lungs. We've got this stomach versus giant massive liver. And that all leads to imbalances in the body, but also the diaphragm, how that ends up working in the body. Okay, so from here, hands to your left knee, try to pressurize, first stabilize your core, lower back heavy, and then start to pressurize your knee up into your hand, push your left ankle down against your right thigh. So we're trying to get out of this position. And then hold that strength and build up to a good amount of effort for you. Try to slowly ramp into this. With the hips though, it's a very large, strong joint. We've got a lot of strong muscles talking, so very different than say neck work. You can start to work pretty challenging, maybe a little more than you're wanting to, as long as it's feeling good. And then we'll melt that effort and right away try to pull your knee towards the wall. Try to pull your left foot closer to your face, and then wow, my hips did that instead. Or really that was my lower back. So don't let your lower back move. Don't let your tailbone swing to the right as you try to find external rotation a little bit deeper. Good, and then relax and switch sides. You take your left foot to the wall and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Lengthen your left waist. And then first just go for long, slow breathing. Relax. Breathe width into your lower back. Good. Just seeing if you can slowly relax into a little bit more passive range of motion here first before we strengthen, so that we just get the most out of the time we're spending here. Good. Okay. Hand against your knee. Resist your knee up into your hand. Resist your ankle up and down into your left thigh, like you're trying to get out of this. Lower back is heavy against the floor, core is on, so that this isn't a spine move, but a hip strengthener, right? Without core stability, everything would be moving all over the place. We want to find this isometric contraction, trying to get out of this, ramping up your work a little bit higher as is appropriate for your body. Another round of breath. I'm starting to shake just a little bit here. And then release and switch to the opposite. So core is strong, lower back doesn't move, but you're trying to pull your knee to the wall. Try to lift your right foot towards your face. Ooh, good. Keep going, pull your knee to the wall. Keep breathing, one more breath. Okay, and then release and relax and take your foot to the wall. Okay, one more here. We'll just see with the spacer now between your knees, squeeze the block, make the lower back heavy, and feel some stability through your torso. But with the squeezing of the block, we've added the inner thighs. And then from here, you just see, can you squeeze the block and without changing anything, just take your right foot a little over to the right. So we're playing with internal rotation here. Left foot is heavy on the wall and maybe a little pulling down action even through the left foot. And then right foot comes back onto the wall. And we do that 2 more times to the right. Internal rotation, hips don't change, not a big fancy move. And coming back, 1 more time. Good. Okay, and then right foot to the wall, squeeze the block, lower back heavy, pull the wall down. Make your right foot heavy and try to take the left foot out to the left, any amount. Squeeze the block. Lower back heavy. Long back of your neck. Even the head can resist down. And then left foot to the wall. Mine's feeling a little shaky. Just trying to make this move as smooth as possible though. Okay, again, left foot to the left. We have 1 more after this. Lower back heavy. And then back to the wall. And then this is the last one. This is harder for me right now on my left side. Okay, squeeze the block, lower back heavy, soft jaw, smooth breaths. Can you get any more internal rotation here? And then relax. We did it. Okay, rest with your legs, maybe stretched up the wall for a breath. And then take your time to roll over all the way onto your side. Arms to sit up. And we'll just come and, take your time because we've been laying down, but we're going to come and make our way up to standing. And I'm just going to tip you up a little bit. Okay, so from here, you'll step your feet maybe as wide as your yoga mat or a little bit wider. I'm going to go off to the side here. A little bit of internal rotation, and then just see how big of a circle can you make with your hips. And really reaching back into the corner and around, and then circling back in the other direction. Good. Okay, we're ready for a nice walk, hopefully. So you're just feeling a little bit of propulsion off the big toe as you take a couple gliding steps. And you can kind of think about that throughout your day. All right, thanks for joining in.